How's that?
That looks perfect on my end. Kathleen?
Yep. I'm back. Oh my God, I had to do a Zoom call in the car yesterday because with the snow, I just misjudged my timing. So I ended up in Golds Ridge parking lot, Marisol, finishing a Zoom. So I have these glasses on from my pocketbook, the blue readers. Well, I get home, this guest speaker
Sorry,
starts.
Kathleen, give me a second. I did the live too early.
That's right, I could tell you later.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that we are actively live, and I wonder if I can pause. No. But in any case, we can begin to let people in. And I will share the live link with you, Shweta, so that we can share that out. But we only have a couple people in the wait room. We can wait a couple more minutes and give some people some time to join in.
And in the meantime, I'll just share that picture on our socials. So if I look distracted, that's what's happening.
Okay, no worries.
So I had an 8 o'clock dentist appointment this morning. And if going to the dentist itself is your idea of fun, doing it at 8 o'clock in the morning is really fun.
Not at all.
Protocols, so it's definitely
So I'm letting in the people in the weight room. Welcome. So we will give just a couple more minutes for people to start. We are live on YouTube right now. Everybody wave hi. And we can start in a minute. Got a couple things going on in the background. Okay, so Kathleen, I think let's go ahead and get started. As people come in, I'll go ahead and just sort of manage the guests as they come in. Okay. But you and I'm actually going to pin you and yeah, let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to get okay, so you and Alan are pinned on the screen. We can see you all, and you can get started whenever you like.
Great, thank you so much. So welcome everyone. This My Money workshop today is called Taking the Stress Out of Managing Your Money. So we're hoping that within the next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we're going to provide you some great information and help you feel more confident as you move forward in your own financial life. So the next slide here is a little bit about housekeeping. So I want you all to know that you're going to be added into the Zoom meeting as you join in. All lines will be on mute. If you have a question, ask us, please hover along the bottom of your screen, find chat, and you can use the chat box. and you can chat to everyone. If you have any technical problems as well, please put that in the chat and someone will be able to reach out to you and assist you to get on. And finally, please know that the presentation will be emailed to everyone after the event. So you don't have to be frantically taking notes. It's great to just be able to listen, kind of go with the flow. And, we're going to do a couple of polls as we go through the day and allow you to kind of check in. We'll see how everyone's feeling as we go along. All right. So that's a little bit on housekeeping. So my name is Kathleen Riley. I am about a 30 something, as I say on the Charlie Brown series, 30 something year banking veteran. So I've been in the banking world for a long time. I've done some training with banking. I've worked with business leaders. I'm currently a branch manager with Patriot Bank located in Scarsdale, New York. And I really get a real kick out of working with both my consumer and my small business clients. So I really like being face-to-face with people and being able to help them, make good financial decisions. With me today is Alan Bay. So Alan, I'll give you the floor. You can do a quick introduction on yourself.
Hi, my name is Alan Bay. I am a master's prepared accountant, and I spent most of my career in financial or senior management positions with various healthcare organizations. Kathleen?
Thanks, Alan. So this is a little bit about our mission here at My Money Workshop. Basically, we are a nonprofit organization, and we are out there to educate people to help them make management decisions so that ultimately they can make a lifetime of informed financial decisions for themselves. So we have a lot of people that join our workshops, whether they're young or they're old, whether they are new to making financial decisions or they've been doing it a while and they want to learn new things. And I just think it's a really great resource that's available to people. And I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now with My Money Workshop. And I tell you, I learned something new from everyone that's on these meetings as we go through over time. So I'm going to take you to the next slide. We're going to ask you a poll. So I want to ask people, how are you all feeling today? So Alan's going to start the poll out there. And if you could just read through that and give us your responses. We just generally want all of you to check in with us. Let us know how you're feeling today as we get started. Okay, so we're in progress now. So it's just 3 short questions. So if you guys can do the poll, maybe give us a couple of responses in there, and we'll see how people are feeling. Okay, I'll give you another 30 seconds or so. Maybe we can get everybody to weigh in. Okay, great. So in the interest of time, I'm going to move forward here. So thank you for everyone who responded to the poll. So generally speaking, people are feeling good and very calm, and it looks like you're really happy to be here today and be able to learn something new. How do you feel about your overall financial health was our second question. Good, we got it. 67% of people feel really good. You have a good handle on your own personal responses, and I think that's terrific. And finally, the third question is, have you ever attended a financial literacy class? And again, we got a strong yes on that. So that's really great. So I'm going to stop the sharing of the results here. Or Alan, I think you could do that.
I think I did that. Now, oh, yes, I just have to close it. Okay.
Okay. So again, as you guys, if you have questions as we go along throughout the day, please put them in the chat. I do speak quickly. I'm trying really hard to slow down, but I want to give you time to get your questions asked. So this next slide, Alan, I think that's still on the screen. Can you stop sharing the results?
I think I did. It's not on my screen. Oh.
All right. Okay, this is
yeah,
it's going off mine. Thank you. So this is what My Money Workshop has developed for this, actually the whole calendar year. You can see there's a series of workshops that are going to be available to you. And it looks like it's on or around the 22nd, 23rd of every month. And I encourage everyone to attend all of these. You know, we kind of build on things as we go. Of course, you can join, and each of them is a standalone workshop. But if you have the opportunity, go ahead and sign up for all of these. And I think you'll find by the time we get to December, you're going to have a really good working knowledge of what you can do to help enhance your own financial literacy skills. So let's get started. So the objectives for today are a few things here. We're going to introduce you to some tools that will help reduce the stress of managing your finances. We're going to show you how to create a financial wellness plan. That will be the focus for our session today. And the wellness plan is going to help you to achieve some financial stability and help you move in the direction you'd like to move in. We're going to teach you the benefits of positive money management. And this will include things like budgeting, banking, debt management, that sort of thing. And hopefully overall, you are going to feel comfortable that you can create some actionable financial goals for 2021. You can go longer, you can go shorter. We're going to kind of go through that and give you the tools that you need to be able to make really good goals for yourself that will be individualized. Okay. And if you, as we get to the end, I'd love you to stay with me because we're going to be able to give you a survey and then know that your feedback is going to help us enhance and develop additional material as time goes on. So why is financial wellness important? Here are a few things that we've heard in the past from other participants as we've done this. People want to live a life with less stress. Financial, decisions create stress. So we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and can reduce your own stress. We want you to be able to protect the money that you make. We want you to be able to create a stable life for yourself and your family. And ultimately, this phrase is something you'd hear throughout the My Money workshops. We want you to feel comfortable living within your means. So everybody has decisions to make. Everybody earns money. We all do things differently, and we want you to feel comfortable that your own financial wellness is something that you can create and feel comfortable for yourself. So what does financial wellness mean to you specifically? So at this point, I want you to use your chat box, or if you, I don't know if we can unmute people, but I'm going to give you a minute or so and think about a response here. What does financial wellness mean to you as an individual? Give us some feedback and let's talk through this. So the chat box, if you hover over the bottom of your screen on my computer, you'll kind of light up those buttons and there's a chat box there. And I want people to put in some thoughts in the chat box. What does financial wellness mean to you? Okay. Okay, so great. Thank you all for helping us put some chat comments in there. And here are some things that we have both in the chat as well as what I've heard in the past as we've done these workshops. Some people want to be able to enhance their skills. That's what financial wellness means to them. Others got very granular. They want to understand how to choose the best bank for them. Other people want to be able to save properly or save more. And I've even heard other participants say they want to be able to increase their credit score. So by developing a financial wellness plan, they feel comfortable that they'll be able to move forward with that. So thank you all for sharing. So on the next screen, I love this slide because it gives you sort of a picture of all the things that are being thrown at you. So this could be confusing to some people. This could be exciting to other people. And what financial wellness really means is exactly what you see on the screen, every single one of these things. It's really important. And everybody's at a different place. So people will be focusing on different things as they go through their financial lives. And I like to say that when you learn, and especially if you participate through the entire program, all of the skills you're going to be developing will help you, number one, develop your habits, which you see on the right there in yellow. And if you develop good habits, you will secondly be able to enhance your own personal financial skills, which is on the bottom right there in yellow. And ultimately, on the top left there, it'll enhance your own individual strategy for how you approach money, how you receive it, how you spend it, how you save it. So to me, financial wellness is really all of these things. So let's kind of jump right in now. So on the next slide, we're talking about poor planning. And I think everyone's probably heard a horror story or two. And this is an interesting example here. Have you ever wanted to win the lottery? People think it's a quick way to get to the end result. But this is an interesting statistic. About 70% of people who do win the lottery or get some kind of a big windfall, maybe they get a big inheritance or you hear this a lot with major league athletes, they get a big paycheck. Well, if you really aren't planning on what you're going to do with that money, many people do end up broke in a few years. And this is data that is captured by the National Endowment for the Financial Education. So it's very interesting. And I think we've kind of all heard a few horror stories. So we want to help you prevent that. So how do we ensure your financial wellness? So we want, just like you're looking at your overall health, taking care of your personal finances is really important. And again, poor planning will affect your ability to reach your own goals. So on the next slide, we have a sample 2021 financial checklist. And I think this is great. And I would encourage people read through this. You know, think about each of these bullet points. Have you taken care of that specific topic? Do you see opportunities to grow in any of these categories? Are there things that you might add onto this checklist for yourself that you think would be a great financial checklist for you to instill and try to work on during 2021? And one example I would like to add to that list is something I thought of in my own household is, you know, maybe these are good for you as an individual, but in my case, you know, I have a husband and maybe my spouse and I aren't on the same page when it comes to retirement, which is also another financial category. So this list is going to change a little bit as we go through and as you as an individual want to add things, delete things, or change things. So I think this is a great tool that we can use going into the future. Sorry about that, Alan. We'll go to the next one.
No
Thank
problem.
you. So
No
this is
problem.
interesting. This is February. This is actually February 23rd. So we are right smack dab in the middle of America Saves Week. And we at My Money Workshop are very proud to tell you that we're a sponsor for today's topic. And the topic is Save for the Unexpected. So if you use the link to the right there that we have on the page, mymoneyworkshop.org/participant resources, you'll find a link that will take you into more information about America Saves Week. So it's great that, you know, as a nation, we're trying to encourage people to save more money and try to raise awareness in general. So we're very proud here at My Money Workshop to be able to participate as a partner. Okay, so how do we get started ensuring our own financial wellness? So first of all, we want to identify what's important. So the choices you make today are going to impact your financial vision and your financial outcome for years to come. So again, let's use the chat box. And for all of you who are joining us, you know, to build your skill set, use the chat box and throw in a couple of ideas here. What is important to you when it comes to financial wellness? So if you could use the chat to load up some comments, that'd be great. We'll have a more robust conversation. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes to type a few things in. So again, if you're new to Zoom, if you hover on your screen and you go to the bottom of your screen, or in some cases, if you're on an iPad, maybe the top, the buttons will show up and you'll see a chat button sort of in the middle. And if you click on chat, you can send a message to the group. Great, so we have one comment already. Having enough money to take care of myself and my family. That's great, so having enough. So as we get started, we're concerned about having the money that we need. That's excellent. Anybody else want to add a comment to the chat? Great, having money to retire. I think that's great. Okay, anybody else? I'll give you another couple of seconds. Okay, planning for retirement I see in here. Oh, this is great, living comfortable now, but also being able to plan for retirement. This is something I talk to my kids about. They're in their mid-20s and, you know, the future's way off. They're not really focusing on it. So I'm trying to strong arm them. If you have your mother as a banker, you're going to be strong armed. And then another comment we have here, having enough money for wants and needs and saving all at the same time. I love the language in there. You're on to that. Great. Some other things I've heard in the past from other participants, wanting to build a better credit score. Some people have short-term goals that is important to them, buying a car or buying a house, or being able to reduce debt or pay off credit cards. So that's great. So thank you all for contributing to that chat. All right, so we wanted to know how to get started. So really, when you think about it, developing financial goals, and we can read the definition here on the screen. A financial goal is a target that is usually driven by how you want to save money. By how you want to save and spend your money. So it's your financial goal. I always think of a financial goal, and any goal actually really is a goal is sort of a roadmap. So how will you move forward if you don't really know what direction you want to go in? So by setting financial goals, we must understand what's important to us. So like the screen says, this is not a one size fits all goal. We're not all going to take like the checklist. We're not all going to use the same definition. So to get started with helping you move in the right direction, the next slide talks a little bit about your values. And I remember thinking to myself when I first read this material, scratching my head like, well, really, does it's kind of built into everything we do. But I don't think that we step back and take a look at our values as it relates to how we manage money. It's really important. So, your judgment of what's important is going to shape the goals and dreams that you have, and especially will have an impact on how you look at your goals, your financial goals, excuse me. So look at the examples, some values on the screen: family, hard work, honesty, respect, and loyalty. So all of those things fit into who we are as an individual, and they are going to shape the way you look at money, like you look at other things in your life. And studies have shown that when we align our goals with our values, we have a much greater success rate at achieving those goals. So when we think about values on the next screen, let's be aware of some limiting or negative core beliefs. So what are the things that may be holding us back from financial success? So let's read through this slide. So much of our basic mental programming comes in our childhood. Think about that. You may not have thought about money as you were a kid, but if you start to think back on it, you can see how you interpreted the use of money maybe in your family as you were growing up. Our beliefs are also shaped by our teachers, our religion, our family, and life experiences in general. And what we don't realize is that limiting or negative beliefs really can stop us before we even get started on setting goals. And they're usually unconscious. And until we start to think about values and how it shapes our future, we won't be able to have an opportunity to kind of unwind some of the negativity. So once you identify these negative beliefs, then you figure out, well, what is really getting in the way for me? So once I know what is important to me and I start thinking about what's going through my head negatively, we can think about what gets in the way. So again, limiting beliefs are beliefs that constrain how you see yourself. The beliefs are often thoughts and conversations that we have in our heads. Maybe we say them out loud, maybe not. As we said, it's maybe based on the past or something we experienced or witnessed. And limiting beliefs can impact your actions and thoughts, and as a result, your life as well as your financial wellness. So look at some examples of some thoughts we've all had at one point or another. I'm not good with money is an example, or it's so difficult, or there's never enough money, or there's too many temptations. And lastly, like I said, I have kids in their 20s. I like nice things. So we hear this often. So, identifying your values, figuring out what the negative speak in your head is, and then figuring out what gets in the way. Then we can, on the next slide, try to limit those negative beliefs. So we can change that, running loop that's in our heads. We can try to move forward. So tell ourselves a new story. So here we kind of rephrase those comments we saw before. I'm committed to learning more about how to manage money. I trust that as I learn to manage my money, it'll get easier and easier. That's a great thing, right? It's just like anything else we learn. When you were a kid learning to ride a bike, it was really hard in the beginning. But if you just get on the bike and try it over and over, you're going to find that you get to master it. Or I've always had more than enough money. I love that one, right? Believe it. Or I use my values to drive my choices. And the last one, money allows me to help myself and others. And I think that's really a great thought there, So it's kind of like changing the tune in your head. So now that we've changed the story in our head, let's think about how we can set SMART goals. So I don't know if you've heard these acronyms before, but SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So let's kind of walk through this slide a little bit. So when we say we want to have a specific goal, we really want to know exactly what you want to accomplish. And so I'm going to just generically talk through goals here. We're going to get to a specific goal in a little bit about financials, but let's talk about a goal around I want to lose weight. So knowing specifically what you want to accomplish, I want to lose 20 pounds. So I put a number on that. So that makes it specific. Is it measurable? So how will you know if you've met your goal? So how will you do that? Well, I'm going to say in my goal, I want to weigh myself weekly, and I'm going to have that way to measure how I'm going as I'm journeying through that path. Is it achievable? Make sure that your goal is not too far out of reach, but challenging enough. So think about your ability to go after this wanting to lose 20 pounds. Is there things that you think you can do to achieve that goal? We know we can eat better. We know we probably could exercise more. And we know we can, during the pandemic, probably drink a little less alcohol. Those would be things that I would think would make it more achievable. Is it relevant? So again, this is really key, I think, and sometimes we leave a step out. Link the goal to something that's important to you. So does it link back to your dreams and your vision? So if you said, I want to lose 20 pounds as my goal, okay, that might not be relevant to yourself unless you tie it back into something. So maybe you're getting ready to go on a vacation, you want to wear a bikini. or maybe you've been invited to attend, or maybe you're even in a wedding and you want to look really good and you want to be prideful for that wedding party. So having it tied into something that's important to you is going to make it all that more important. And finally, timely. So what is the time frame you want to meet your goals? So how will you know if you've reached it? So again, that's another motivating factor to me, just like relevancy is. So maybe my goal to lose 20 pounds is 2 months away. So now that I've kind of answered all these things, now we can put a SMART goal down on paper. And I'm going to refer to this slide a couple times as we go through. So we're going to pull out slide 21 as we go back later on. So let's think about a financial SMART goal. We're going to give you an example here. Okay, so I want to save $500 in case I lose my income in the next 6 months. So depending on what you all do for a living during these times of COVID, this is a very realistic goal. And I think there's a lot of fear out there. And I see a lot of my clients doing this. And I see a lot of people in my town trying to think about this. So let's kind of break this up. So number one, is it specific? So I think saving is the specificity of this, right? And then we know it's $500. So the next question, number two, is it measurable? So we said, yeah, we measured it as $500. And we know we're going to be able to measure the money because we know what we can put in our savings account. So the third thing, is it achievable and time bound? Ooh, okay. Okay, is it relevant? We'll go with relevant. Is it relevant to you? Yeah, it's during COVID. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. So I really, really think this is important to me. I want to save the 500. So the next one, is it achievable and time bound? And you can see what they did here. They want it to come from income and they want it to be saved in the next 6 months. So that's what this person decided to do. And I believe we have one more, or no, we hit them all. Okay, so that's just an example. And there's an interesting statistic to go with this page too. 40% of Americans do not have even $400 saved for an emergency. And the pandemic has really deepened this challenge as people lose their jobs. And I know from my perspective in banking, I am seeing my clients start to hold on to a lot of cash lately. So I think this is really a great opportunity to kind of create a goal like this. So let's look at some more examples. So Sasha is going to give us some great conversation here. We're going to discuss a short-term and intermediate term and a long-term goal for her. So you could create your SMART goal, but then you can make it, whether the time frame is really going to be something important to you. You could have all three going, which is what I think is important here for Sasha. So let's read through this. So Sasha would like to pay the minimum or more on the balance on her credit card every month in order to reduce her debt in the next year. So is it specific? Yes, we're talking about the minimum and we can see that dollar amount on the statement every year. Is it measurable? She wants to do it every month. Is it achievable? She feels like it is. So she wouldn't have come up with this goal because she knows that she makes the money to be able to do this. And she's trying to get out of debt. So that makes it achievable for her and relevant. And finally, is it timely? She's working on this for the next year. So for 12 months in a row, she's going to try to do this. I think that's a great short-term goal. Let's look at her intermediate goal. She wants to pay her bills on time to help raise her credit score by 200 points over the next 2 years. So she's got specific activity with her payments every month. She looks at her goal is going to be 200-point increase, which is really phenomenal. And the time frame she's giving herself is 2 years, which I think is very realistic. And finally, this leads all of this into her long-term goal, where she wants to purchase a home within the next 5 years. So I think that's really a great example of how you can break up your goals. It doesn't have to be one big hairy thing. You can break it up into little pieces that's going to make more sense for you. Okay. So let's see here. So this is we're going to go through a couple of steps here. Now, again, I said you're going to get a copy of the presentation, so don't worry about writing the information here. Just grab a scrap sheet of paper and maybe we can walk through this together. And we're going to go through a couple of iterations of this. And I want to start on this first slide. So the first step really is thinking about your goals for your finances. So just off the top of your head, throw down some things that are important for you. So look at the example, my intention. I want to rent an apartment next year for about $1,500 a month. So jot down for yourself. You don't have to share it with anybody until we get to the end if you'd like. And I want you to think about what are some goals for your finances. And then this is the beginning. We're going to create specific goals out of this. So take a second or two and jot down some ideas. Okay. You notice I started with 2 minutes down to a minute. Now I'm giving you seconds. So put some thoughts on paper. Okay, so hopefully everybody's got something written on their piece of paper. So on the next slide, this is really the second step you're thinking of. So we had goals we threw out there. Let's just brainstorm. What are some obstacles or some worries about achieving what you wrote down? So kind of jot down on another piece of paper or maybe below what you wrote. What are some obstacles to going after what it is you just identified? Okay, so remember the example, first person wanted to save money to rent an apartment, and some obstacles for that person is it's hard. How am I going to do this? So what are some things that you could put on there? And I like this part about brainstorming all these things. And sometimes you can talk to other people and you can invite them into your head and in your conversation and have them help you. Well, what do you think would get in the way of doing this? Okay. And then the next slide is really the third step here. Now, what's holding you back from achieving your goals? So we already identified obstacles, but let's go through that negative speak in our head. Are there things that are going through your mind that maybe you think you're not going to achieve that goal? So this is a very generic statement. I'll never be able to afford that. You know, oh, woe is me, the sky is falling. But it's a real, it's a comment in your head. It's something that's holding you back. You want to really identify that. Okay. And then we'll go to the next slide here. This is what I'm calling the fourth step here. What are some opportunities that are available to you? So what will help you achieve your goals? This is enabling you now to take that negative speak and flip it into a positive comment. So what you just lamented, I'll never be able to do it. Well, maybe I could. Maybe I should get a new job or an additional source of income. Okay, so this is your chance to think positively on this slide. And so I want to go back a couple slides. So Alan, let's go back and put some examples on here for people in case they weren't able to come up with things. So let's go back to the first one, the money goals worksheet right after this. So we have the example here for I want to save get an apartment. So does anybody want to share with us what you came up with? Give us some ideas of what you, just generically speaking, what kind of financial goals you might have. Okay. All right, so since we're not getting any chats in here, let's go with the example on the page. So that we'll kind of take this one all the way through the pages. So my intention is to rent an apartment next year for about $1,500 a month. Okay, good. So what do you think some obstacles on the next slide might be? Well, maybe, okay, it's hard. Maybe I would jot down lack of income. I don't know that I have enough money to be able to achieve that goal. Or maybe you're finding in the marketplace where you live, there's no rentals out there right now. So, okay, those are really good obstacles and things that you might want to think about.
Well, maybe
So the
my
third,
credit rating is subpar.
say that again, Alan.
Maybe my credit rating is
Okay,
subpar.
that's great. So maybe you got the money, maybe you have the apartment lined up, but maybe the landlord isn't going to like your credit score. So that's really important to think about. Great, that's a really good point. So let's take this now, these obstacles, let's go to the next step. And let's think about the negative speak. So what's holding you back? I'll never be able to afford it. Or I'm just not good enough to be able to live out on my own as an individual. Listen, I got my 23-year-old in my head when I'm thinking about this. I got to get the boy out, okay? Or maybe you say, you know what? I want to stay in my neighborhood and there's just nothing available here. I really don't want to leave. I'm close to family and work. Or let's go with Alan's comment, my credit score is too low. Oh my God, how am I going to fix that? I can't fix that in the short term. So then, again, let's take that negative speak, go to the next page, and let's flip it to a positive. So opportunities. Okay, so let me see. Maybe I could get a second job. Maybe I could work at night after work. Or maybe I really, everything's lined up, but I don't have the deposit that I need to put down. Maybe I can ask my family members for help with that. Or, hey, you know what? I do deserve a nice apartment, and I think this is something that I want to achieve. Or maybe you could get an apartment with a bunch of other people. That'll reduce the cost for you. Maybe you could move out of your neighborhood. Maybe the commute from another location would not be terrible and it might open you up to some new opportunities. So there's a lot of things that you can kind of change the negative into a positive. So I just want to run through that example, kind of get people to understand how I'm trying to flow through the material. So let's take you to the next page. Oops, sorry, I think that's where I was. I jumped ahead. What holds you back? Go forward, Alan, I'm sorry. And we just did opportunities.
What
forward, go to the one that says now that we've reviewed the goals. Go forward. Forward, forward. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. So now that we've reviewed the money goals worksheet, so we kind of walked you through that iteration. So now you got to think through it a little bit further. So, you know, I want you to go back to your original intention, right? And sort of flesh out the details. So we kind of walk through those examples on the screen, but you have to use this as an example for yourself. Go through that, speak in your head, jot down some notes. Remember, we on slide 21, we had SMART goals. So you want to take your thoughts and make them SMART. And I love the picture here, you know, mistakes in setting goals, too big or too many or not specific, or they're not written. I know I speak from experience, you know, I write things down. I feel like when I write the goal with my handwriting, it commits it to memory. I make it serious and real. And my kids chuckle at me. They don't feel like they need to have it written. They can, you know, type it on a computer or they have it in their head or whatever. So, you know, different people will do different things. But what I think is really important is, you know, don't discard your hopes and dreams. You know, if you really want to make something happen, turn your thoughts and your goals and your dreams into actionable items and get yourself set up with a financial roadmap by typing them out and putting them as a SMART goal. Okay. So at this point, the next slide is really our Q&A. So I want to know if anybody has any comments. And remember, you're going to get the slide presentations. So you'll be able to work through this as some materials. And remember, in the future, we're going to take you to that next step. So we're going to kind of go through a couple of things. So if you could use the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, you know, let me know if there's any questions that anybody has at this point, or any comments, or anything you'd like to add to the materials. And please feel free to unmute if that's what your preference is. And remember, you know, the slide, I just love it's kind of open, it's sort of broad, right? So, you know, what we talked through today was trying to set your financial wellness plan and get started on goal setting. So, and you might have remembered from the chart we showed you in the beginning, you know, we're going to give you other steps. We're going to help you build a budget, or we're going to build a savings plan. So as I said, you know, everything will grow, you know, as an outcropping of this first set of materials. So if you want to go to the next page, we'll hit some remembering today's key messages. So I'm going to kind of talk from, you know, additionally, not just from the slide, but remember, we talked about financial wellness in general. What does it mean to you, and how do you set goals for yourself, and how are they relevant to yourself? We talked about creating a plan and kind of working through the details of fleshing it out. We showed you that really nice financial checklist, which I think is really important. I think that would be a key page for me to take away, maybe add things and edit that. Remember, we talked about your values and your own priorities, what's important to you as an individual. We talked about those negative thoughts that run through your head. That's very serious. And I think people they kind of take the negativity, they go, oh, well, I'm going to fail at this, and they walk away. But it's really an opportunity to flip the negative thoughts into positive, optimistic speak inside your own head. And then we talked through some SMART goals. So, you know, really, I'm kind of walking through this, and, you know, give it another run through yourself, or maybe walk through with a partner or a friend or a parent, and kind of run through it and get other people's feedback, see what they really think, you know. But bottom line, remember, responsible financial decisions will help you achieve your financial goals and dreams. And it's also going to help your money go further. So I really like that as a nice summarizing line.
And in reality, many of us would have multiple goals and perhaps multiple plans to reach them.
That's right. And you can jockey your goals around. You know, what you think is important to you today, and you maybe write 3 to 5 goals, maybe in 6 months, that list kind of swaps itself around. And that's the beauty of a goal. You know, it's yours. It's not set in stone, and you can change it at any point in time to make it more realistic or make it more achievable. But remember, to get anywhere, you need to take that first step, and creating a goal kind of gives you that roadmap and allows you to move forward. So I would say to everyone who's attended, congratulate yourself, because attending this workshop is really the first step down this path toward financial wellness. So I congratulate everyone for joining. So we're going to ask you another poll on the next slide. So we want to know, how are you feeling now? So if you could answer the chat that Alan's going to put up here. And we want to, I'm sorry, the poll, and then we want to see how people are feeling now.
Wait, there's only one poll embedded here.
There's not another one? Okay.
I do not,
So after our time today, how is everyone feeling about their financial future? If there's no, oh, it's the same poll, we can do that again? Okay.
put it up again. Is that
Yeah,
what
can you reactivate that? We'll see,
Yes,
maybe we'll see if people have changed their decisions. Let's see what
Good.
happens. And I know we had more people join, so maybe we'll get more.
I don't know how to clear it.
Okay, well, we don't need to poll. If people want to throw in the chat box, how are you feeling right now after we've gone through this?
Oh, there, it's
Oh,
clear.
there we go. We got it. Okay, so again, there's 3 questions on here. So if all of you would take a moment and put some responses to the poll. There's 3 questions. How are you feeling today? How do you feel about your overall financial health? And have you ever attended a financial literacy class? Okay, good. We have some thoughts coming in. Okay. So less respondents than we had before. But generally speaking, people are feeling calm and excited. That's great. People are feeling good or slightly worried. I would like to think that people who say slightly worried, maybe we've opened their eyes a little bit. Maybe they're going to go back and do a little homework. So I don't think that's a negative response. I like that a lot. Remember, raising awareness, right, is key. That's how we all learn, and that's how we move forward. All right, great. Thank you, Alan. You can end that. And on the next slide, we just want to take you back to our little commercial here. So remember, with My Money Workshop, you have tons and tons of support that's out there. So if you have visited our website, that's terrific. There's some important links on there. There's pre-recorded events and videos that you can see. You can request a one-on-one from a member of our team. So there's a lot of great resources out there, in addition to that calendar of events for these that will be going on once every month. So the next slide reminds you the next one will be on March 23rd. So mark your calendars for that and make sure you sign up on the link. And I want to thank everyone for your time today and your participation. And I hope this is the first step into a really well laid out plan for your financial wellness. So thank you all so much. If there's anybody who has any questions, I'm happy to stay here with you. If not, I want to thank you all for attending. I'll see you next month.
Thanks, everybody.